What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Mike here. I'm here to react to these NBA playoffs up until this point. It's currently 7:50 on the East Coast in the morning, and the Brooklyn Nets haven't played their Game 3 yet, but you have teams such as the Philadelphia 76ers who are getting ready to get their Game 4 underway tonight and going for the sweep over the Toronto Raptors, and you got a host of other Game 4s that are on this day. So I'm just going to react to the playoffs up until this point, and since the Sixers are going for the sweep, I'll talk about them first. So the Sixers have been absolutely dominant in Game 3. Joel Embiid hit a game-winning 3 as time expired. First, I just wanted to talk about that moment because I've been watching Joel Embiid, and I'm starting to believe that he could really go toe-to-toe with some of the greatest centers in the NBA, such as Shaquille O'Neal, such as Hakeem Olajuwon, such as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, such as Wilt Chamberlain. I really think his skill set, and he's so unique that he could go toe-to-toe with those guys because obviously he can bang in the paint, but he can also do something that those other guys that I named could not do. He could dribble and create off the dribble. He can also shoot threes. Like, what other amazing center in NBA history is doing that stuff? And I said, yes, amazing center. You know, guys like Dirk Nowitzki, they weren't centers, they were power forwards. And Joel Embiid is just a very, very special talent. The Sixers are going for the sweep. I expect them to complete that sweep Saturday in the early window, the first game on the Saturday slate, and just get this series over with. I'm actually really, really surprised. I thought the Raptors would at least push them, and obviously in Game 3, the Raptors gave the Sixers their very best punch, but the Sixers are going for the sweep Saturday, and I expect them to get that done. I want to move on to this Dallas Mavericks-Utah Jazz series. This series has been very, very interesting for many reasons. Dallas was the team, obviously, without star Luka Doncic, who had home court. They lost Game 1 to the Jazz. They bounced back in Game 2 with a big performance from Jalen Brunson, 41-point performance. And in Game 3, the Mavericks go on the road and they defeat the Utah Jazz. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I thought the Utah Jazz would protect home court, but I can see them bouncing back. Still don't know if Luka Doncic is going to play. He should be back soon. I kind of think that the Mavericks, with the swag they're playing with and the style of play, pulling Rudy Gobert out of the paint, getting guys involved to hit the long ball. Even Davis Bertans hit 4 threes the other night. Maxi Kleber chipped in for 4 more threes in Game 3. Obviously, we know about the 8 3-point performance in Game 2. I'm expecting the Dallas Mavericks to win this series. I know I said Jazz in 6. But I'm going to have to eat my words because a lot of these players have showed me something, and head coach Jason Kidd has also showed me a lot in this short period of time. I just didn't know. Because the Mavericks were a team that became so dependent on Luka. I'm like, wow, if something does happen to him, and sidelines him for a little bit, how's it going to look? Because we just hadn't really seen it, you know what I'm saying? So we're seeing it at a big crucial time. Obviously, we're in the NBA playoffs. And the Mavericks have held up really, really good against the Utah Jazz. I do think Utah's going to tie this thing up at home. They can't afford to drop 2 games at home and then go down 3-1 in Dallas. They just can't do that. So I'm going to rock with the Jazz to win Game 4. But it's really, really crazy to see this series. It's actually a really good series. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not even going to lie. Next, I'm going to talk about the Memphis-Minnesota series. So, I told a good friend of mine, my guy Jay, not too long ago, that the Timberwolves are a loser franchise. They are a loser franchise. That's just what it is. Like, all those years Kevin Garnett was on the Timberwolves, like they weren't that good. They made the playoffs a few times. They went deep in the playoffs one year. Kevin Garnett even won the league MVP. But this franchise is loser infested. I can't say it. I can't stress that enough. They had 2 20-point leads in that pivotal Game 3, their first game at home, and that's where you want to show out. You don't want to let a lead disappear. You have a 26-point lead, and then you end up going back up by 20 in the third quarter, and then you lose that game by 9. How does that even happen? Is it coaching? Are these players just not built for the moment? Because Ja Morant showed me he's built. The way his demeanor and his swag and his confidence, the whole Grizzlies team, the way they carry themselves, It's very, very tight knit, and it's like, oh, we got this, we're good. We've been in this situation before. That's how the Grizzlies carry themselves, and I really, really love to see that. There's going to be a game 4 today, and I think Memphis might have crushed the Minnesota Timberwolves spirit. I truly think so. I think they crushed their spirit, and I think this series is over. I think it's over in 5. I think Memphis is going to win Game 4. And they're going to go home for Game 5 and win the series. I truly see that. Karl-Anthony Towns, what are you doing? You have to play better. You're the best player on the team. You have to lead this team. You were the only player on this team that made the playoffs when this team last made the playoffs back in 2018. I'm calling you out. You got to do better. Let's move on to this Milwaukee and Chicago series. Obviously, this series doesn't continue until tomorrow, but there's been a lot going on in this series. Game 2, we had DeMar DeRozan with a huge 41-point performance. Game 3, we saw Grayson Allen be the leading scorer for the Milwaukee Bucks. Obviously, the Bucks were without Chris Middleton, but they seem to smack this team up with no problem. 111-81. DeMar DeRozan, he followed up his 41-point performance with what I believe an 11-point performance. And you just can't have stuff like that happen in the playoffs. This is the type of thing we saw from DeMar DeRozan early on in his career with the Toronto Raptors. He would have some real big stinkers. Like, I know you guys remember that year that the Raptors got swept by the Wizards. Like, DeMar DeRozan would just have some stinkers. This game was never really close after the second half. Well, I'm sorry, after the first quarter. I'm sorry. The Bucks were up 16 and kind of just kept pushing, kept pressing. Obviously, I said they're without Chris Middleton. He's going to miss the rest of the series with an MCL sprain. But they got contributions from other guys such as Grayson Allen, such as even Pat Connaughton, even Bobby Portis, who hit 4 threes. I think the Bucks, they're going to have to try to finish this thing off. But, you still got guys like DeMar DeRozan, who's a star in this league. You got Zach LaVine. Those guys, they're shot makers. So they could possibly extend the series. And the Bucks are without, I think, their best shot creator and Chris Middleton. Obviously not their best player, but their best shot creator. So we'll see how long this series goes. I don't really know. I still think the Bucks will win it. Maybe Bucks in 6. But I wouldn't be surprised they got it done in 5. They could have possibly crushed the Bulls' spirit. But, I'm not in that locker room. I don't know. But the Bucks, they took care of business. And that's what I like to see. After the way they lost in Game 2, they come back and they just crush this team on their home floor. You love to see that. That's playoff basketball right there. That's the type of intensity I like to see. Moving on, we got the Denver and Golden State series. I wanted to kind of deep dive this series just off the simple fact, and obviously the Golden State Warriors up 3-0 in this series. But I wanted to deep dive this one a little bit just because Golden State, and we're going to talk about this on my next podcast, Curry in the Pot. Golden State is seasoned. They've been here before. They've seen this many a times, just this different ways. They've been turning this page in this book. You know what I'm saying? They're seasoned. Draymond, Steph, Clay, Iguodala's back playing. Iguodala. We got Steve Kerr, head coach, obviously. They're built for this. They're just ready for this. You know what I'm saying? And for the Nuggets, I know I talk about the Mavericks and being so dependent on Luka Doncic. Unfortunately, the Nuggets are so dependent on Nikola Jokic. But in a playoff series, a great team like Golden State and a former defensive player of the year and Draymond Green, they can get a game plan set to neutralize what Jokic does. Jokic just really had a good game in Game 3, and that still wasn't enough. The Warriors took the Nuggets' best punch in that game. Nikola Jokic, the Nuggets are just too dependent on him, and unfortunately they have to be without guys who can create their own shot, like Jamal Murray, like Michael Porter Jr. I know Will Barton can do it a little bit, but he's not those type of guys. But they're just too dependent on Jokic, and it shows in the series. This is why they got swept by the Phoenix Suns last year. A great team can key on what's been getting you by, and they not shut it down completely, but they can neutralize it. and pretty much just blow you away. And that's what I've seen from Golden State. Steph Curry's even coming off the bench and giving you 25 plus. Like, he's balling out. Jordan Poole has been stellar. I thought it was a little unsustainable, but he's been looking great. And Draymond has been solid. Everybody else has just been playing their role. Klay Thompson's been good. It's just been great to see from the Golden State Warriors, and they're going to sweep this team. They crushed their spirit. And I said the Nuggets, they gave them their best punch at Game 4. They took it, and now we move on, and they're going to sweep them, I believe. Let's talk about this Miami-Atlanta series, this Phoenix and New Orleans series. Then we're going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics before we wrap this thing up. So Atlanta bounced back into this series winning, and Miami is now up 2-1. Kyle Lowry got hurt with a hamstring. But Trae Young hit a floater with 4.4 seconds left in the game. And I thought Miami was going to win this game. I really did. I kind of stopped watching it. I wasn't really watching. Like, all right, he got this. You know what I'm saying? They got this. They're going to wrap this thing up. And they just didn't put the Hawks away. And, with a team like that, especially on their home floor, you got to put them away. You really do have to put them away. I still think the Heat win this series, but my original prediction was Heat in 6. And it might go that way, especially them losing Kyle Lowry. But guys like the Heat have had guys step up all year. They have a team full of tryhards. I hate to say it, they just do. Shout out to my guy Bink. We talk about that all the time. But the Heat, they just have a team that is a real gritty, grimy team, and they play for one another, and they give you maximum effort every night. And you got to attribute that to, guys like Jimmy Butler, obviously head coach Eric Spoelstra, and even Pat Riley for instilling that Heat culture. But Trae Young was fantastic. He hit that game-winning floater. So shout out to the Hawks, man. They're still in this thing. Moving on to the Phoenix-New Orleans series. This series obviously took a turn in Game 2. With Devin Booker getting hurt, and he's out for the hamstring. And all I want to say is, Suns fans, I don't want to hear it. You guys gave the Lakers fans a hard time when Anthony Davis and LeBron went down. I don't want to hear it. Man. Obviously, Devin Booker, hope you get well soon. I love to see you back on the court. You're a Kobe disciple, so of course I love your game. But in this particular series, I want to talk about Chris Paul, the point guard himself, who scored 19 fourth-quarter points in Game 3. Those were some big shots, hitting a bunch of mid-range shots. He just took the game over. It was vintage stuff right there. He literally just took over and said, everybody get out of my way. I'm going to get in the pick and roll, and I'm going to get the big in a pick and roll. I'm going to get him on the switch, and I'm going to hit the mid-range shot. He did it, and it was absolutely beautiful. Chris Paul's game has aged so gracefully that we got to really appreciate what we're seeing from him. 19 fourth-quarter points, just beautiful. He took the game over. No shot at anybody on the Pelicans, but when Chris Paul is playing like that, there's nothing you can do. And I told my guy B. Jones, I think Chris Paul might be the most skilled tryhard of all time because he plays super duper hard and he's an amazing player. But in this series, the Suns are up 2-1. I do expect them to get this series, probably winning in 6 because I think the Pelicans will win another game. They just have too much talent. They have the 2 best scorers remaining in this series, Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum. So I can see them possibly extending this series and pushing the envelope a little bit. And I can see the Suns, with their leadership and with the way Chris Paul played last night, I can see them wrapping this thing up in 6. So I'm going to go with Suns in 6. Obviously, it can't be a sweep anymore. That's what I thought it would be. But, Devin Booker injury changed a lot because he was hooping in that game. He had 31 at halftime. It's unfortunate to see that. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Suns in 6. Let's talk about this Brooklyn Nets series and this Brooklyn Nets team. Before I get into the Brooklyn Nets, I got to give so much credit when credit is due to Boston Celtics head coach Ime Udoka, to Marcus Smart, and just everything that they're doing on defense to stop Kevin Durant. I never thought I would see a team stop Kevin Durant but they literally stopped this guy. He did not score a field goal in the second half of game 2. Kevin Durant not scoring a field goal? I know he lived at the free throw line and made a lot of free throws, but they're stopping this guy from getting to his spots and doing what he does best. KD can score from anywhere. He can pull up from anywhere, but he's most comfortable in the mid-range. He's one of the best mid-range players of all time. He's obviously a top 3 scorer of all time, but he got to show me something in game 3. Kyrie, you didn't have a good game 2 at all either. You guys got to step up to the plate. You guys got to do it. You guys, it has to get done. It has to get done because they're not going to get another good game like that collectively from their role players. I'm looking at the box score right now. I saw it the other night, but it's obviously Saturday. Seth Curry, 16 points. Bruce Brown, 23 points. Goran Dragic, 18. When is the last time Goran Dragic dropped 18? Seth Curry's had some nice games in his career, even since joining the Brooklyn Nets. But when is the last time Goran Dragic scored 18 points? I mean, seriously, to everybody watching, go look that up. Just go look it up, because I don't know myself. I'm gonna check that out later when I'm done with this video. But they're not gonna get another performance like that collectively from their role players. It's not gonna happen. It's impossible. So KD, you gotta get 30. Kyrie, you gotta step up. You can't have 10 points. I understand your Ramadan. I respect that. I appreciate that. But you guys gotta get it together. It's game 3. And if you look at it from a series perspective, I know it sounds like I'm piling on them, but all the Celtics did was take care of home court. Now it's the Nets' turn. If they can win game 3 and win game 4, okay, we got an even series. Obviously, the Nets will still have to steal one on the road to win the series. But hey, all the Celtics did was pretty much take care of home court. We've seen this thing happen in the playoffs. In the finals last year, the Suns went up 2-0. Bucks won 4 straight games. We've seen it happen. It can happen. The Nets did it themselves last year in the playoffs. Up 2-0, Bucks came back and won the series. So anything can happen. I'm going to say that, but Kevin Durant has to step up. Kyrie Irving has to step up. And if they can get another game out of their role players like that, they'll be in good shape. But for the Celtics, I wanted to give a lot of credit to head coach Ime Udoka, Marcus Smart, all of those guys. Marcus Smart, the Defensive Player of the Year, and all those guys for they're stopping KD. I've never seen this before. They're making him turn the ball over. They're making him look incredibly uncomfortable, and they're getting very, very physical with them. Celtics are going to get back Robert Williams in game 3, and the Nets supposed to get back Ben Simmons in game 4. So we're going to talk. I'll probably come back and do another video once we get to game 4 for every series. So if you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And you can also check out my podcast, Curry and the Pop Podcast. I'll leave the link down below in the description. Thank you guys so much. If you're enjoying this playoff series, YouTube series that I'm doing, please let me know. I plan to keep it going throughout the duration of the playoffs. And even in the finals, I'll react to each game. So let's do that. And thank you guys so much. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I am signing out.